Mm. Oh. Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, and others. Good morning. Mm. Mm. Ah, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. So I'm back at the Ben Allen Marsh. Ladies and gentlemen, it's December 30th, and I'm just coming back from the Ben Allen Marsh. I'm going to share some pictures of my trip and maybe some footage as well in here, but I want to talk about climate change and how climate change and weather are not the same thing. They're not. And I know a lot of climate change denialists love to pretend that somehow we're just confused by the fact that it rained one day and then the sun came out the next day, and that somehow we don't understand this and we think that it's climate change. No, we don't. We are not confused. We are not the least bit confused. We know the difference between weather and climate. We know the difference between weather and climate, and so do you. The problem is, you're in bed with the oil companies, or your information sources are in bed with the oil companies, and you just believe everything they tell you because what they tell you makes you feel good about yourself, and you don't want to stop that endorphin rush. Well, the fact is, climate change is happening. It is a phenomenon, and it is very different from weather. Very, very different. And I'm going to explain it to you. Weather is what you see when you look out your window today. Climate is what you see when you look out your window every day for 50 years and document it meticulously and compare it with the notes made by 1,000 other people who have also looked out their window every day for 50 years and documented the weather. And that pattern, the pattern that you have of weather over time, is climate. That is the difference. Weather is what you see when you look out your window. Climate is what you see when you look out your window every day for 50 fucking years. Yeah. Now, there is a more refined definition, but we'll stick with that one. Hey, yeah. So I think we've established that we know the difference between climate and weather. We know the difference between the rain stopping during a rainstorm and the clouds breaking and the sun coming out, and on the other hand, the winter rains consistently failing every year for 35 years. We know the difference. We know the difference. We know that it's not just weather. We know that it's more than just weather. So yeah. Telling us that we just don't know what weather is belittles us, insults us, and diverts attention away from the issue, which is the climate. The overall climate has been changing for decades. And yes, the time to do something was the early 1980s. But unfortunately, Ronald Reagan, Margaret Thatcher, Brian Mulroney, and a host of other right-wing politicians came into power during the period of the early 1980s and went to great lengths to give the auto industry, the oil industry, carte blanche to do whatever they damn well please. Even to the point of giving them the use of the military. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. This is December, in an area where normally in December the snow is at least knee deep, if not waist deep. Yeah. And we have been having more and more green Christmases. And when we don't have green Christmases, we are having worse storms, worse blizzards, and more unseasonal weather. Yeah. Pardon me. And our summers have been hotter and drier consistently every year for over 30 years. The trend overall has been increasingly hot and increasingly dry. This is not weather. This is climate. There is a difference. And the denialists and their corporate backers may think in terms of what we can get out of it. They also look down at the rest of us and say, screw you guys. When they say screw you guys, they're looking at you. They're looking at you. But of course, this brings us right back to the face-eating leopards party and their promise to eat the faces of the people you hate. And your assumption that that means they won't eat your face as well. Or in some cases, your assumption that that makes it okay. And they're welcome to eat your face, as long as they eat the face of everybody that you hate as well. Yeah. The decline of conservative thought. You've literally gone from, it won't hurt me, it'll just hurt them, to, yeah, it'll hurt me, but it'll also hurt them. And you've done this in a generation. Maybe you should think about who the them is that you are condemning to having their faces eaten by the face-eating leopards party. Because it's not just a little Arab in Palestine or a black person in the inner city or a native on a reservation. It's not just a homeless person sleeping under a bridge. It's your own children and your own grandchildren, your own great-grandchildren. They're the ones whose faces are going to get eaten by the face-eating leopards party. Climate change is happening. Take a good look around. Compare the average weather conditions today with the average weather conditions
4th, this day, every year, for the last 40 years. Go ahead, compare. Look at the trend. Look at the overall trend. Don't look for the anomaly. Well, in one year it was actually colder, or in one year it was snowier. Look for the trend. The overall trend. And think about where that trend is going. Think. Anywho, ta-ta, I have a busy day.